The dreaded leg kicks. Whether it's a classic Muay Thai kick to the thighs or a more modern approach in kicking to the calves and shins, leg kicks have become one of the most lethal and effective weapons used in modern mixed martial arts. Imagine if someone took a baseball bat to your shins or thighs. That's what getting kicked feels like. Leg kicks allow fighters to brutalize the legs of their opponents. This creates immense pain and stiffness in legs. Plus, they help cut off the movement and explosiveness of your opponent. When leg kicks are used effectively, they can completely change the dynamic of a fight. When leg kicks are landed consistently and causing damage, it can allow fighters to open up more with their hand strikes. Or they can fake a kick to the legs and go high to the head. These simple strategies still work in today's world MMA. We see it all the time at the highest level of the sport, and all we can say is, check those kicks, man. Welcome to UpNext MMA. Today we're talking about our top 6 fighters who wish they properly checked those leg kicks. Before we get into it, guys, please remember to smash the like button and comment if you enjoy the video, as well as subscribe and hit the notification bell so you are notified every time we have a new video dropping. Alright, let's get on with our list. Number 1, Paulo Costa, UFC 253. This one is fresh off the press and our most recent example. Paulo Costa fought Israel Adesayna for the UFC Middleweight Championship at UFC 253. Paulo Costa is a powerful volume striker. He usually pressures and brings the action in all of his fights. However, those aggressive styles usually play right into the hands of an elite counter-striker like Israel. Israel's fight with Robert Whittaker is a perfect example of this. Robert pressured Israel with strikes for most of the fight, but Israel made his reads and began to slowly pick Robert apart with leg kicks and accurate straight punches on the way to a second-round knockout. So instead of Paulo doing what Robert Whittaker did, he simply did nothing at all. Well, almost nothing. Paulo stood right in front of Israel the entire fight, waiting for an opening. Israel took that opportunity to consistently attack Paulo's legs while making reads on his movement. Paulo, who was doing a poor job in checking those leg kicks, was visibly slower after the first round. This allowed for Israel to open up with more strikes to the body and head as he continued to attack the legs with kicks. Paulo's defense was severely lacking in this area, as he seemed content to eat the majority of those kicks even though they were causing damage. The writing was on the wall. Israel's attack eventually led to the fight-ending sequence where Israel opened up with a barrage of strikes following a kick to Paulo's legs. Paulo got caught, dropped, and saved by the ref. Israel scored another knockout win. Paulo just clearly lacked the proper defense to deal with these kicks, hence lending to his own demise in this title fight. Number 2, Matt Hughes, UFC 65. At UFC 65, Matt Hughes and GSP fought for the second time in a rematch for the UFC welterweight title. Throughout the fight, GSP led a leg kick assault on Matt Hughes. These leg kicks hurt Hughes badly, and he would consistently drop his hands when the kicks came. GSP made that read, faked a kick to the legs, and then launched into a Superman punch that dropped Matt Hughes at the end of the first round. During the fight-ending sequence, when GSP faked the low kick again and went high to the head, GSP was able to land these kicks as a result of Matt Hughes' inability to properly check or deal with those leg kicks. As a result, those kicks did consistent damage, allowing his opponent GSP to open up with other strikes because Matt is worried about the leg kicks. I bet he wished he checked those leg kicks. Number 3, Daniel Cormier, UFC 217. This one has become a classic in recent years, only because of the magnitude of the fight, the 2 best light heavyweights of all time, and what transpired afterwards with Jon Jones' failed drug test. But unlike popular belief, this fight was lost due to Daniel's inability to properly deal with the body and leg kicks of Jon Jones. Jon's strategy was clearly to keep moving and land hard kicks to the body and legs. In order to minimize the impact of these kicks, Cormier would lower his hands and use his arms to shield his body. He also leaned into the kicks to absorb the impact. Jones made the reads. Jones faked the body kick and went for the head with a switch kick. The head kick landed beautifully. hurting Cormier bad and leading to the knockout win for Jones in the third round. Like I said earlier, Jones' drug test failure and USADA controversy largely overshadowed the great performance and the technical errors made by Daniel. But had Daniel properly checked those kicks and kept his hands up, the result of the fight might have been a little different. Number 4, Holly Holm, UFC 239. This one is very similar to the Jones-Cormier fight, but this one ended much quicker. In July of 2019, UFC 239 featured at the UFC Women's Bantamweight title fight between the female GOAT in Amanda Nunes and former champ Holly Holm. Like John Jones, Amanda kept ripping Holly's body and legs with hard kicks, forcing Holly to drop her hands to neutralize the power of the kicks. Holly began to hold her hands lower as a result. This was the beginning of the end. You guys know what is coming. Like everyone else on this list, Amanda faked low and went high. The kick landed clean on Holly's dome and she was done. You would think they would learn to check those kicks by now, right? Nope, definitely not. Number 5, Jessica Eye, UFC 238. This is going to be the most brutal example. You probably remember Jessica's fight with Valentina for UFC flyweight title in June 2019 at UFC 238. If you do not, this was one of the scariest head knockouts seen in quite some time, purely because of the cracking sound that created when the shin made contact to the head. This knockout manifested for the same reason as all the others. Valentina kept attacking the body with hard kicks, forcing Jessica to drop her hands. So, in the beginning of the second round, Valentina went high to the head and connected clean, brutally knocking out Jessica. Jessica just could not properly adjust to the kicks being thrown. Number 6, Uriah Faber, WEC 48. This is a classic example of why you need to check kicks to legs, always. Uriah versus Jose Aldo for the WEC featherweight title way back in 2010. This is back when Jose was a leg-kicking machine. Jose put on a Muay Thai kicking clinic on Uriah by constantly attacking the legs with kicks. Back then, the popular thing was to kick the thighs. Jose did exactly that. After the first round, Uriah could not move or attack the same way he could at the beginning of the fight. Jose would go on to completely take out Uriah's right leg with kicks, even dropping him several times due to Uriah's leg giving out. Uriah did do a good job of defending against the head kicks. Cannot say the same for the people previously mentioned on this list. Uriah would somehow make it to the final bell and earned a unanimous decision loss, while getting his leg eaten alive in the process. The inability to check leg kicks cost him that fight without question. He tells the media all the time that he wishes he checked those kicks. Okay guys, what did you think of the list? Was there anyone you think I left off the list? What are other instances of fighters putting on leg kicking clinics? Let me know in the comments. Please remember to smash the like button if you enjoyed the video. It helps me out a ton. Also, subscribe and hit the notification bell to get informed every time we drop a new video. I appreciate you guys watching until the end, and I'll talk to you guys again soon.